This is a society at the mercy of a political conflict. This is a story of one young family in a situation that is beyond their control. The expectation of a new baby. It's a feeling of excitement and apprehension that all parents experience. But for Amal and Asad, the pregnancy of this second child means much more. I first met Amal and Asad al-Masloom 1 year ago at a children's hospital in Gaza City. And the story of their first child is one that I will never forget. This is their first child, Firaz, when he was 19 months old. He was born with 2 holes in his heart, and his parents' lives were dedicated to his care.
دكتور لهذا للدكتور هذا وبعدين من الإشعة للدكتورة للقسم جيب الأغراض حضر الشنطة جيب غدا جيب فطور جيب شوكو جيب دواء جيب مش عارف ايش يعني بالضبط هيك كلها روح وتعال روح وتعال روح وتعال. واحد مثلا هو واحد متجوزين جديد يعني فيش يوم يعني كويس شفنا يعني طول حياتنا عنا دواء وما دواء واعمل الدواء وركز وابصر الشو وكل يوم دواء وكل يوم صيدليه ومش يعني هيك والله من الله ما احلى هيك يعني متأب.
Firaz's condition could have been fixed by routine surgery, but Israel's siege on the Gaza Strip has crippled the medical system here. These doctors don't have the training or equipment to perform the necessary operation.
كان روح متابعة برضه بإسرائيل راح مرة وكان مفروض بعدين بعد فترة يعني إنه يطلع مرة تانية يعني لمتابعة بإسرائيل.
But Gaza is blocked off from the outside world, and Firaz never made it back to Israel for his heart operation. His parents say the request to cross the border was turned down 6 times because his case was never considered an emergency. But then Firaz's condition started to quickly deteriorate. His doctors here couldn't help him anymore. The only solution was to send him to an advanced hospital in Israel. And now, it was urgent.
I mean, if you can take him today, it'll be better.
An Israeli hospital accepted the doctor's request, and Assad started a race against time to get his son out of Gaza.
هلقيت هي اجاني فاكس انا هلقيت وقتي لسه. هاي في تنسيق مع ايرز مع الدكتور في المستشفى.
عشان تكون الصورة يا سعد انت ابويا الاسرائيليين بيطلعوكاش اللي تكون الصورة الشخصية على شهادة الميلاد. الصورة الشخصية. لا المريض نفسه تاع الطفل. يدخلوش الحالة ورجعوهم إلا تكون الصورة الأصلية موجودة هنا.
فيش صورة أصلية عندك للولد؟
ماشي شكرا كثير.
شو اسمه أحمد؟
هذول ما لهمش لازمة هالقد.
لقيت وين أنت رايح؟
بتدوروا على الظهر بدي أجيب الصورة أصغرها وبعدين أطلع أجيكوا على عند القاعة. امال بعث لي صور فراس الكبار، تنتين على الباب، هلقيت ابعتيهم على الباب تحت. يلا سلام. هاي تتفاجأ، مفاجآت هذه يعني بتطلع معك، يعني بيكون ضل الوقت 5 دقائق قبل ما يسكر، بفاجئك بشغله بدك تروح، يمكن نروح الميعاد عشان قصة الصورة بس.
يعني مش حاجه طبيعيه بالمره.
نهائيا.
6 صور.
بديش الواحد يعني تعبه كله هذا يروح بالفاضي، يعني انه روح وتعال وجيب وصور وروح على المستشفى، تعمل المستشفى وعلى الفاضي. والله ما انا مصدق بهالصراحه، يعني الحمد لله مشيت الامور، سهلت الحمد لله.
Amal started to prepare for the trip to Israel. She was ready to travel alone with her son. Only one person is allowed to accompany a child patient. It's another rule of the system.
حاسة بالخوف والقلق إني بدي أروح على مكان ما بعرفوش، بس حاسة بالقوة إني عشان بدي أكون واقفة جنبه، بده يعمل العملية وأنا جنبه ويطلع منها بالسلامة، ما يرجعش على المستشفى بالمرة. يعني كان قضى كل السنتين هدول وهو بالمستشفى ونايم في المستشفى وإبر وتعب وسهر. إن شاء الله يا رب بيرجع بالسلامة.
As Amal was going back to the hospital to meet her son for the trip to the border, she received an urgent call and was told there was a complication. The drive to the hospital in Israel would have only taken an hour. But after nearly 3 hours of obstacles and delays, Firaz's journey never began. The tragedy of Firaz and his parents, having been captured on camera, was soon on the evening news.
ولبحث موضوع قضية هذا المساء تنضم إلينا من مدينة غزة أمال المظلوم والدة الطفل فراس، والدكتور حسن خلف وكيل وزارة الصحة في حكومة حماس المقالة. أمال، بداية في الواقع لا أجد الكلمات التي يمكن أن نعزيك بها. أنا والدة تماما مثلك لبنت هي في عمر فراس رحمة الله عليه. لا أجد الكلمات التي أصيغ بها أي سؤال. أي كلمات لديك أنت تقولينها للعالم الذي يشاهد والبعض منه يتفرج؟
بتمنى انه كل طفل شفته تعبان جنب طفل في المستشفى انه يتعالج ويطلع من حقه انه يعيش، من حقه انه يعني يتعالج ويلاقي الدواء المناسب له، ما يموتش وينازع قدام امه زي ما صار معايا. شفته هو بينازع قبالي بس ما كانش بايدي طالع حاجه، مش قادره اعمل له حاجه. بتمنى كل الاطفال اللي بيعانوا من وجع ومن تعب انه حقهم يطلعوا ويتعالجوا في اي مكان مناسب لعلاجهم.
راس الجالين كتير كويس، ما فيش اي مشاكل ذات اهميه طبيه يعني. نازل في الحوض؟ نازل في الحوض.
الطفل طبيعي والحمد لله كويس. بالنسبه للراس طبيعيه جدا، القلب طبيعي جدا، كل ضرباته كويسه، الخلاصه في مكانها، يقوم بالسلامة ويكون في اليوم المتوقع على الولادة وتكون ولادة سهلة وميسرة وما يكونش ولادة عسيرة الحمد لله.
والله بصراحة أنا ما بقدر أحكي إشي هالقيت نهائياً إلا لما أشوف الولد واطمئن عليه، غير هيك فيش عندي كلام صراحة. وفي الآخر في الأول والآخر الواحد بيقول اللي من الله يا محلاه والله.
As Amal enters her final stage of pregnancy, I decide to go to Israel. I want to meet the doctor who would have operated on Firaz the year before. This border keeps the Palestinians inside Gaza. And it's what stood between Firaz and his chance at life. It's easy for foreign journalists and international aid workers to get into Israel, but many of the Gazans themselves never make it this close to the border. They need a very compelling reason and complicated coordination with Israeli authorities. And even then, an exit permit is never guaranteed. Only a few hundred meters separate Gaza and Israel, but they are worlds apart. The haves and the have-nots. In Israel, there is a vibrancy and sense of potential that you can only find in a society that determines its own future. It only takes me an hour to drive from Gaza to the Wolfson Medical Center on the outskirts of Tel Aviv. This is where Firaz was supposed to have his surgery 1 year ago. And this is the cardiologist who was waiting for him. Dr. Tamir operates on children from all over the world. And today, I found 4 young patients from Gaza.
I will help children get to us to treatment. The system will help, but the system still have to operate its defense mechanism in order to prevent bad things to happen to Israelis. So that's why I accept it, and I am not so much against it. Instead of throwing bombs, we save lives. So it's different ways of inflicting some power. If you throw a bomb and you kill, you are a powerful man. If you save life, you are powerful in the same manner. But maybe it's something that gives you strength. You take your strength from whatever you can do. I don't play with politics. I have my own political views, but this is private. I'm not really into this type of activity. I'm a physician. I swear to treat people, to help them, people who are sick, and that's what I do.
But not everybody in Israel's medical field stays out of politics. Ron Yaron and his colleagues help Palestinian patients get access to the treatment they need.
Since Israel controls the only gate out for Palestinians who seek for care unavailable, it has responsibility to let them out. Physicians for Human Rights recorded 14 cases of death-related denial access, and all these cases are recorded after the application was submitted to the Israeli authorities.
But the Israeli army's main concern is security. And Colonel Moshe Levy comes up with a different fact to defend the policy of closure towards the Gaza Strip.
4 from 5 requests that we received every day, we approved. So I think that this is 80% from the requirements from the Palestinian side, we approved it.
You can see it in the numbers of people who are denied. Nearly 25% of the patients who apply for exit permits are denied due to rejection or delays.
Our challenge is how to create a balance between the security needs and between the civilian needs. This is the main issue. This is the main challenge of the Israeli policy in this arena.
Granting the health right, eventually, in the long term, make my society a better place to live in. And for that, I think I do my best to help Palestinians, not only because, because they are human beings and they must enjoy, but also because as an Israeli, I feel responsibility for them.
It's 5 in the morning in Gaza City, and the Masloom family is at the public hospital. Amal has just gone into labor, and she's heading with her mother-in-law to the maternity ward for women only. Assad has been waiting for 8.5 hours. Enough time for the memory of his first child's illness to creep back into his mind. But this time, there are no complications.
شد بدوش يفتح
خلاص ضلكيش تعمل هيك وسخية مش ما شاء الله بقول لك مش ما شاء الله.
Happiness has returned to this household. The new baby boy is in perfect health. And as a way to honor their first son, Amal and Assad decide to also name their second son Firaz.
Firaz. الحمد لله رضا من الله. والله صور يا مصوراتي.
أمي أختي بتكون جايبة ابن أنا بكون خاله بنبسطوا يعني المجتمع بصير مع بعضه منكيف.
طيب اسمه بقول زي سيدو أبو سفيان.
مش مهم لمين طالع المهم يطلع صالح إن شاء الله وإن شاء الله بيجي عندي على المدرسة وبعلمه.
The past 3 years of Amal's family life were filled with anxiety and sadness. But now, with a sense of relief, she looks forward to a happy future.
بدي اياه يكبر بسرعة. بدي اشوفه هيك بمراحل مثلا الزحف المشي والاشي. هي احلى اشي هلقيتها صغار ما منتبه يعني مش كتير بشدوك لهم دائما نايمين اما لما بكره بصيروا يزحفوا يمشوا مبين اكتر احلى يعني.
لو بدي يصير عمري 100 سنة من الناس اللي صار فيا لأنه عذاب ربنا يعلم. احنا عذاب الولد هذا من ربنا وراضين فيه بس عذاب العبد لا.
ما كنتش يعني حاسة بالمعاناة اللي ممكن كاينين يحسوا فيها الناس إلا طبعا بعد ما اتجوزت وإجا فراس لقيته تعبان وهيك حسيت طبعا إنه غزة عن جد سجن.
أنا بحس بتأنيب الضمير إنه ما قدرتش أسوي له اللازم. هو ربنا خلقه هيك وإحنا راضيين في هذا الكلام بس يعني الواحد يقدم اللي عليه كأب مزبوط ولا لا؟
وهو موجود بيننا حتى لو إنه توفى بنحسه موجود بيننا يعني ما بننساهوش طبعا حتى لو إجا فراس هذا الثاني يعني.
Life goes on in Gaza, but there are thousands of people who have been denied medical treatment and left without adequate care. The blockade of the Gaza Strip is still firmly in place. And until the political situation changes, these patients will be waiting and struggling for one of the most basic rights.